VIPEK sent me their R1 clothing rack so that I could put it together and just show you how useful it is. So let's go ahead and see what all comes in the box. It is really well packaged. So they give you corners that are plastic to protect everything inside, especially since the corners are always the first thing to get damaged in delivery. But everything's zip tied together and wrapped in plastic so it doesn't get scratched. So now that we have all the zip ties removed, we can start assembling it. They do give you a really clear instruction book. I was just taking a look at this and it looks like it's gonna be super easy. And just so I can show you in real time how long this is gonna take, I do have a timer right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit start and then we'll see how long this takes. The first parts we're gonna need are the A poles, and everything's clearly marked, and then the end clips. And they do give you spare clips just in case some of them break because they are plastic. And then we're gonna screw the M piece, which are the wheels, onto the A pieces. So the wheel is just gonna go into the side with the threads, and you're just gonna screw that on by hand until you can't anymore. And then they do give you this little wrench that you can use to tighten it. And next we're gonna put the clips on. So this is what the first shelf is gonna be resting on. So they're pretty cool. They just snap into each other. So there's the tabs on either end, and then they just snap together like that. But we're gonna do that over piece A. And then they do show you which side is the top because the top is actually thinner than the bottom, just so that the shelf can slide right onto it. And what's nice is that you can adjust where you want the shelf to be. I'm gonna put it right here on this double line where that's notched right there, just so it makes it easier to get them all the same height. And then you'll just hear it snap into place like that. And then once all those are on, we're going to slide this onto these poles. And you just wanna make sure that it is facing the right way, because there's a flat side and then a side that goes in. And you'll also be able to tell it's facing the right way because their logo will be facing the correct way. And they're just gonna slide right over those clips. And the clips will keep them nice and sturdy and in there. And the first part is done and it rolls. So we're heading in the right direction. And then just to make sure they're secure in there, you're just going to press down on either side by the corner, just so they're securely on those clips. You can also use a little mallet or hammer just to lightly pound it in there. All right, next we need our G parts, and those are just gonna slide on either end, just on either side right there. And that'll help keep the shoes in this bottom spot. It's totally optional. You don't have to put those on if you're not intending to use this to store shoes, but I think that that storage will be nice. And then same thing, you're just gonna use the H pieces that are like those ones, just longer for the longer sides. So this way you want the tabs facing down and that hook part is gonna be up top. So it'll lay right on top of the G pieces. And also those little tabs are gonna go in between the metal on the inside versus the side pieces, those little tabs that come down are gonna go on the outside of the rack. And now she's gonna grow. So we're gonna put those B and C poles on. So B is gonna screw into A, and then C is gonna screw into B. So we're gonna be putting some more of those clips, which is part N, on the top part. And I'm just gonna place them below the second double line on the pole, all the way around. And then we are gonna be putting F, which is this little coat hook, and I, which is gonna be this accessory hook, just right on top of those clips we just put on. And it's already giving it more structure over here. And then the rest of the end pieces are going to be putting the top rack on. And those clips I'm just putting as far up at the top as I can. And just for size reference, I'm 5'4", this thing is pretty tall. And again, just like the first one, we want the logo to be able to be read, so you want it to be upright. That'll make this a nice flat surface because the inside, it comes in. And I don't have a hammer up here right now or a mallet, and I kind of don't want to go grab one, but I will probably mallet these down later just to make sure they're secure, but they feel pretty secure with me just pulling on the corners. All right, now we're putting the hanging rod on, which is part E. So piece J is gonna go through piece K and into piece E. Just make sure you're screwing in the hook piece with the hook facing towards the pole so that it will actually work and hook on. So I'm gonna feed that through and just hook it on to this side over here on that middle diamond shape. And we're gonna do the same thing over here and screw in that little screw to the pole. And then piece L are your accessory hooks. And those just go on this little rack right here. So that'll make it easy to hang like bags or scarves or whatever right here. And the last step is optional, so you can actually mount this to a wall so it doesn't roll away. And you would just do that with the O pieces right here, and they give you one for each side, and it comes with these little zip ties. I'm not gonna do that because I want mine to be movable, and I love that it comes with wheels, so I can just wheel it in and wheel it back out. It also makes it really easy for like garage sales and stuff like that. And then also we have those extra end clips just in case some of ours break. I love that they give you that. It just shows an attention to detail that I really appreciate. And here it is all put together and with all the clothing and shoes and accessories on it. And I did want to show you, I forgot to turn off the stopwatch immediately, but I remembered pretty quickly. And so it took less than 27 minutes to put this together. I think that's pretty good. And I was talking to you guys the whole time, so I was pretty distracted. If I was focused, it would have taken maybe 15 minutes. But let me show you all the cool details about this clothing rack because there's so much you can put on here. You can fit so many clothes on here, and I love this because I'm always trying on clothes for you guys and showing you what I've found on Amazon. I love that the dresses fit perfectly. This is one of the longest dresses I have, and it's not even touching the bottom of that shelf. I could get a longer dress and it would still fit in there. I also love how much space is down here. I could fit a lot of shoes. I could put them this way and then I could fit 2 pairs this way, but I kind of like the look that it gives when there's 3 across. And I love that it's tall enough that I can fit my boots in there as well. And then I also threw some sandals up here. I think that works really well as a shoe shelf, but you could also put hats up there. And then on this side, we have our accessory rack. And I love that I could just feed some scarves through here. So I just fed it through one of these little squares so that it's not hitting any of the clothes back there. And then these hooks are great for like things like purses or even some necklaces would be fun on there. But I hung some purses and handbags and some belts. These are great belt hangers as well. There's just so much you could do with this little square rack right here. And I like that it's high enough up that my belts don't hang on the floor. They're not even touching the bottom shelf down there. And then on the other side, we have these little hooks right here that would be great for coats in the winter. But also right now, since it's still warm weather, I have my swimsuits and my hats hanging up there and my swimsuit cover-ups. I think that works really well. But in the winter time, coats and flannels and sweaters and stuff would be great right there. And also look at how smoothly it's rolling over this carpet. It's super quiet too. It's not squeaky and the brakes aren't hitting the ground and being annoying and dragging. It's a super smooth roll and they feel super sturdy. And then the brakes are actually just on one side. So both of them ended up on this side. So I could just put those brakes down and then it won't roll. It's actually really sturdy. I'm pushing it pretty hard and I can get it to move a little, but barely. So if it rolling around is worrisome to you, first of all, you do have the mounting stuff that I showed you earlier, but these brakes are good enough for me. And then I can just turn the brakes off and roll it around again. This R1 rack is going to be so helpful for just reviewing clothes and also for my guests. I feel like in a guest room, this would be really helpful because it's extra storage if you don't have a closet in your guest room. Or if you sew a lot like me, it would be really helpful to have all your sewing projects here and you could put your sewing machine down there. And it would just be really great for storage for whatever you need. But yeah, I hope this helped you. I really love this clothing rack. 10 out of 10 sturdiness and helpfulness. I love all the features it has. It's just the best clothing rack I have tried so far.